to our exploration of an essential topic in architectural discourse, the tension between regionalism and universality. In this video, we will delve into the core principles of critical regionalism as articulated by Kenneth Frampton, examining how this concept advocates for an architecture that is deeply rooted in its geographical and cultural context, while also engaging with the broader currents of modernity. Additionally, we'll discuss the work of Hassan Fathy, particularly his book, Architecture for the Poor, which beautifully illustrates the interplay between tradition and modernity, showcasing how culturally sensitive design can address contemporary needs while honoring local heritage. Through our discussion, we will also reflect on how contemporary architecture navigates these dual approaches, blending regional specifics with universal ideas. Join us as we unpack these significant themes that continue to shape the architectural landscape today.
In critical regionalism, Kenneth Frampton highlights that the core principles revolve around a strong connection to the local context, culture, and climate. He argues against climate determinism, which limits architecture to merely responding to environmental factors. Instead, Frampton emphasized that architecture should also reflect historical and cultural identities. He believes that effective regional architecture uses local materials and respects traditional building methods. This approach allows for design that resonate with their surroundings while still incorporating modern techniques. Frampton critiques many modern buildings for their focus on universal styles, which often disconnect them from their cultural roots. A clear example of critical regionalism is found in the work of Alvarado, who skillfully integrates local materials and cultural context into his designs, creating buildings that feel authentic and meaningful.
A key feature of critical regionalism is its resistance to the homogenizations of architecture. As globalization spreads, many cities start to look alike with glass and steel skyscrapers, dominating urban landscapes. Critical regionalization challenges this by encouraging architects to acknowledge and survey the cultural identity of a place, instead of imposing universal aesthetics. Architects should design with sensitivity to historical rate and local traditions. The thermal path in Wales, Switzerland, designed by Peter Sonker, and the structure is built using local quartzite stone, which not only across the buildings to its mountainous surroundings but also provide excellent thermal properties. The design seamlessly integrates into the landscape, creating an immersive experience that respects the natural settings while offering a texture and modern spa environment.
Kenneth Frampton's concept of spatial regionalism is an architectural approach that seeks to balance global modernism with local cultural and environmental context. In his essay, particularly in Towards a Crucial Regionalism, 6.4 Architecture of Resistance, Frampton outlines key principles. Firstly, place over space emphasizes the importance of local geography, topography, climate, and culture in shaping architecture, rather than succumbing to a universal basis, modernist architecture. Secondly, tectonic form over scenography prioritizes construction techniques and material identity over superficial or purely visual design elements. Resist to globalization avoids the homogenization to architecture caused by international styles, striving instead for a sense of regional identity. Sensory engagement encourages an architecture that responds to human perception and experience, such as light, shadow, and texture, rather than being purely image-based. Contextual adaptation integrates new buildings into the existing cultural and natural landscape, maintaining a dialogue with history and tradition while still being contemporary. And lastly, the use of modern technology with local traditions advocates for a synthesis of modern construction methods with indigenous building techniques and materials.
Hassan was an Egyptian architect who combined traditional building methods with modern needs. He used local materials like mud bricks, which kept houses cool in the hot Egyptian climate, without air conditioning. For example, in the village of New Garna, Frampton designed homes with courtyards and domed roofs that allowed natural ventilation and light. This made the houses comfortable, affordable, and good for environment. Frampton also involved local people in building the village. He taught them how to make mud bricks and build vaulted roofs, helping them learn valuable skills and take pride in their community. This approach preserved traditional building techniques while meeting modern needs by mixing old and new ideas. Fathy created buildings that were modern still connected to local culture. His work shows how architects can respect tradition while solving today's problems.
In critical regulation, Kenneth Frampton emphasizes that architecture should not be solely a response to climate. He critiques climate determinism, which reduces design to mere environmental responses. Frampton argues that regional architecture must also consider cultural and historical context. For example, Mediterranean houses have features suited for hot climates, but they also represent local identity and craftsmanship. He warns that many modern buildings, like glass skyscrapers, focus on technology for climate control without connecting to their cultural context, which can make them fall out of place. An example of effective regional architecture is Alvar Aalto's work, where he combines local materials with designs that reflect cultural identity and climate needs.
In critical regionalism, Kenneth Frampton explains that contemporary architecture often mixes regional and universal approaches. Many modern buildings use universal styles but can still include local materials and traditional techniques, making them relevant to their culture. For example, some architects design buildings that fit global trends while using local resources. Hassan also shows this blend in his work. He used mud bricks and local craftsmanship in his projects, addressing the needs of local people while respecting their traditions. Frampton critiques buildings like glass skyscrapers for not connecting with their surroundings. However, there are successful examples where architects balance both regional and universal elements.
Today, architects try to balance global trends with regional identity. Sustainability is a key concern and many designs adapt to local climates. For example, in hot regions, passive cooling techniques help maintain comfortable temperature without excessive energy use. While in colder areas, traditional materials like wood and stone are combined with modern insulation. Many old buildings are also being restored and refurbished instead of being demolished. While international architectural style influence new designs, regional elements still play an important role. Over Abu Dhabi, which balance contemporary design with traditional Middle Eastern elements. Technology is shaping modern architecture, but the way it is applied depends on local needs and resources.
As we conclude our discussion on regionalism versus universality in architecture, it's clear that both perspectives play a vital role in shaping the built environment. Kenneth Frampton's principles of critical regionalism reminds us of the importance of context, while Hassan Fathy's work exemplifies how respecting tradition can inform modern practices and solutions. In In contemporary architecture, we see a dynamic interplay between these two approaches, where architects draw from local traditions while embracing global influences, creating spaces that resonate on both regional and universal levels. Ultimately, finding a balance between these ideologies can lead to more sustainable, meaningful, and culturally relevant architecture that meets the needs of diverse communities. Thank you for joining us in this exploration, and we look forward to continuing the conversation about the future of architecture.